Andy Thompson here, and we are back with Word on the Street. It was a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how traffic does not know city boundaries. You guys know this. Traffic comes from Delray, it comes from Boynton Beach, it comes from West Boca, it comes from all over. So the traffic patterns that we have in our city aren't strictly a product of us here in Boca. And for that reason, a lot of times people misunderstand the fact that traffic can't be controlled on a city-by-city basis. The government recognizes this, and that's why planning when it comes to transportation and traffic is done not on a city level, but on a regional level. And there is this regional agency, this county agency, which very few people know about, but which has an enormous impact on our traffic and transportation here in Boca Raton and in Palm Beach County, and that is the Palm Beach County Metropolitan Planning Organization. What is the MPO? Well, the MPO is in charge of transportation planning throughout Palm Beach County. Every urban city in the United States is part of an MPO, and the MPO acts as something like a liaison between the local communities, the cities and the counties, and the state and federal departments of transportation. What does an MPO do? An MPO prioritizes, plans, and funds the transportation improvements that you see throughout our area. It can be sometimes widening a street or widening a highway, to changing the traffic patterns, to identifying improvements that can be made. The MPO is made up of, the agency itself is made up of professional engineers and planners, and the governing board is made up of our local elected officials, municipalities, and counties, and is led at the moment by our mayor here in Boca Raton, Susan Haney. Now, the MPO does a wide range of things, and one of its most important contributions, I think, besides to improving traffic all around, is its public outreach program, and they are big on this. All of the meetings of the MPO are public, and they have an opportunity for public comment. They have a number of advisory committees, too, on which I serve on one of them. That's the Citizens Advisory Committee. And we meet every month to talk about the planning and projects that are going to be done in the next few years. And that's what the MPO really has to do, because transportation, a lot of these improvements are enormous in size. The improvements have to be planned out years and years in advance. So what the MPO does is every 5 years, it gets a sense of what traffic and transportation improvements are needed, what demands are going to be, and then it plans out a number of projects that it thinks are reasonable based on the cost. And what it does is it prioritizes those projects based on what transportation projects are most needed and where. Now, the MPO is not some faraway agency sitting in an ivory tower. Every once in a while, in fact, frequently, they come down here to Boca to hear what we have to say. And just a few months ago, the MPO conducted a study of federal highway here in Boca Raton. In fact, they're doing it countywide to see and find out what we wanted to have our federal highway look like. And they conducted several public forums and had several days worth of studies to find out what we want. And this was an opportunity for our residents to be heard and see what we can do when we come together collaboratively to work out a solution to what many feel are a problem on federal highway, and I hear that. So one last thing about the MPO. How is it funded? Transportation funding generally has a bunch of sources. Some of the funding comes from user fees or license and registration fees. It comes from property taxes, but the biggest component is actually fuel tax. Do you know that 55 cents of every gallon of gas that you buy goes towards a tax? Portion of it is federal, portion of it is state, and portion of it is local. But that fuel tax, in large part, is what funds all of these transportation improvements that you're seeing. So if you want to have a contribution, if you want to help decide where those tax dollars are going to be spent, get involved with the MPO. There are a number of advisory committees that they have set up to have people like us give our input on where this money is going to be spent. And they have studies and charrettes where they conduct down here in Boca where our voices can be heard. So don't think of the MPO as this far away, distant agency. No, they want our help. They value our help. And I think it's time that we give them our help. So the next time you know or hear of an MPO meeting or study being conducted, get involved, have your voice be heard. And until next time, I'm Andy Thompson, and this has been Word on the Street.